Nigel Farage has said he is preparing for government. Now, he's been in Birmingham, I'm sure, as you know, at the Reform Party conference over the weekend. ITV News UK editor Paul Brand joins me now. Looking at that, it did look like this is now a party. You know, before it was just him and then a sort of crowd of oddballs, and now it seems like actually that looked like a proper party conference, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and it was attended very well.
Yes,
sort of
lots of people there.
Who people think might be heading for government. Lots of journalists went, lots of companies went as well to sponsor the event. Nigel Farage's big sort of slogan was "Make Britain Great Again." Sounds kind of familiar,
where have we heard that from?
I just can't imagine where he stole that one from. But it worked for Donald Trump in America, so why wouldn't it work for him? He would imagine. The big sort of policy promise he made in his speech was that he wants to stop those small boat crossings within 2 weeks of government. He said, I could do it in 2 weeks. And then it sort of slightly unravelled in all the interviews that he does with political journalists afterwards, where he was asked, what do you mean by 2 weeks? And he said, oh, well, actually, we'd have to pass a law first. Passing a law generally takes weeks, months.
Of course it does.
And then, within 2 weeks of the law passing, the boats would stop. So he got a little bit stuck around that. But yeah, that was his big pitch, stop the boats.
Fascinating, isn't it? They've had a lot of defections, including Nadine Dorries. They've had a lot of defections from the Conservative Party. Do you think that sort of trickle is going to turn into a flood? What do you think is going to happen?
Potentially, although there's kind of mixed feelings within Reform about those defections. Some people are saying, why are we taking in all these, like, ex-ministers from Tory governments, which were perceived to be a complete failure by the British public? They got voted out. Why are we taking on these kind of, like, has-beens? Nadine Dorries, though, does have... she does have a big platform. You know, she's a columnist in the Mail. She does have a following. She's obviously a loyalist to Boris Johnson. I wonder, and maybe Nadine would say this is all a load of old codswallop, but I wonder whether there's a bit of a plot going on here that she's defected to Reform because she wants Boris Johnson to come back and lead the Conservative Party, right?
Right, of course.
And I could just imagine in 6 months' time her turning around and saying, I'll defect back to the Conservatives if Boris Johnson returns.
Right. Oh, that's fascinating.
And she was doing some interviews over the weekend where she did say, look, I think Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson should join forces. Which I just wondered whether that was a little hint of what's really going on in her mind.
No, see, that would... I'm not sure about that, I get that, but would that not be a little bit like Trump and Musk? These two people, you know, two big, giant alpha males kind of thing, whatever you think of them. How interesting that would be, because I think they'd fall out after about 2 minutes.
Yeah, and
who knows?
I don't think either would want to give way to
No,
right?
of course they wouldn't. See, I thought she defected because there was no chance that Boris Johnson would ever come back. And I just thought she went, oh, well, there's no point in staying here then, I'll go over there. Who knows? Who knows, Paul?
Whatever's happened, I'm sure Nadine Dorries and Boris Johnson would have had a conversation about what she should do before she did it.
We live in interesting times, do we not?
We do.
You can get your hands on Reform merchandise now.
Yeah. So this does happen at lots of party conferences, but there was kind of a little bit of controversy about this football shirt. Should they be mixing politics and sport? Who knows? 40 quid if you want that.
Oh, OK.
£99.99 if you want it signed by Nigel Farage.
Oh, OK.
Although it's all sold out now, so
is
you're too late.
Where does all that money go? Does that just go back into the party, I suppose?
Back into the party, yeah. So it funds campaigns and all that sort of thing.
Right.
It's a way of them raising money for the party.
Now, one of the odd things, amongst many odd things, that I saw was someone came out and sang, rather than coming out and making a speech. Was that Andrea Jenkins? Yeah,
Why not sing the message that you want to...
Right.
So, should we just have a look at it first?
Yes, if we must.
I'm an insomniac, staring at the ceiling. Yes, I'm an insomniac. I'm an insomniac. And all I can hear is the sound of that clock.
Yeah,
What and why?
Ask Andrea Jenkins. No, so she's very popular within the party, is the first thing I should say. So we might have a little titter this morning about it, but it went down quite well on the ball. Others on social media saying this was a kind of a classic Alan Partridge moment, right? So the reason she was singing that song was she wrote it 20 years ago about having insomnia, and the point she was making politically is, I'm being kept awake at night by the Labour government because it's so rubbish in her view.
Right.
So she tried to kind of tie the two things together in her speech, and she sang the song and then she said Labour are awful, etc., etc. Whether it worked or not, I don't think it worked on you.
Could you imagine, like, Gordon Brown coming out rapping?
I mean, I've seen Theresa May come out dancing, all right?
That's true, to be fair. That is true.
Stranger things have happened.
Oh, God love her. God love her. I mean, the whole thing is just mad. But you know what? I guess if she's thinking to herself, if I sing a song about insomniacs and it gets attention because we're talking about it, and it went down well in the hall, oh, geez.
And, of course, a lot was going on at the end of last week, which did sort of overshadow the
Wasn't it just? I mean, absolutely bizarre. You know, what was the Prime Minister up to at the weekend? Because it was a strange one, wasn't it?
Well, on the phone, trying to sort of reshuffle his top team. So Angela Rayner, as I'm sure all our viewers will know, had to resign on Friday as Deputy Prime Minister and also Deputy Leader of the Labour Party. She got several roles because of this scandal over stamp duty. She admitted she hadn't paid enough. She wrote a letter to the Prime Minister saying, all right, I hold my hands up, I'm going to go. And then he replied, and his handwriting has had people talking as well over the weekend. What do we think of this? I thought it was all right.
It was all right.
Maybe mine's just awful.
Better than mine.
Yeah, I thought that better than mine.
And at least he hand-wrote it.
Bit spidery, bit GP-like.
Oh, gosh, they'll all be reading into it.
There have been people reading into it. What does it mean?
Oh, no, poor guy.
But he said, you know, thanks very much, you're a close colleague, etc., but I agree, you've got to go.
Yeah.
So then the reshuffle begins.
Right, of course. And then what happens, do you think, to Angela Rayner? She's not got these jobs now. She doesn't have to, you know, toe the line as much. Yeah. So what do you think she'll do in the back benches?
Well, she'll be a really, really influential figure.
I think so, yeah.
And it's kind of up to her which way she wants to play it. She can either show her full support to the Prime Minister and help him, or she may feel that she, you know, we know she's got disagreements with Keir Starmer.
Of course, yeah.
She's more left-wing than Keir Starmer, so she cares about things like welfare payments, she cares about the two-child benefit cap. It's quite possible that she will start campaigning for those things on the back benches and trying to influence the government from there. And she would be a very, very influential force. Well, we shall see what happens. Maybe Keir Starmer will sing. It's just, honestly, it just gets more and more bizarre. He used to be in a band, you know. He did not. I think so. I think so. Either that, or he was a bit of a groupie. Oh, we have to get a hold of that. We have to get a hold of that. Not impossible. That's definitely got to be. Paul, thank you for making sense out of all this weirdness. Thank you so much. Well, that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have all the best moments from the show right here on the channel. And if you like this video, then we think you'll love this one. See you next time.